Alright, here we go. This is the NASCAR challenge. We're going to get the wheel off the tractor, lickety-split. Okay, ready? Go! Got everything about loosened up. Here's the part where we're going to have to get a little bit of Western with it and just pull this thing apart. Hopefully this whole top piece right here will just come right off, so. Woo! Let's hope I packed a lunch here. Got the basics. I'm still a little winded from taking that body out. We got the basic chassis here now. Transmission, which I think we're going to boot, but it would be kind of cool to leave it on there. But we don't have a horizontal shaft engine, so that's out. So we'll pull this. We'll probably end up running a jack shaft through here. Put a little engine right here. Probably still use this brake assembly in some fashion. But I think it was pretty decent. We'll get this all stripped off of here. Some more junk off the back. Start cleaning this up, get the steering to work, and strip a bit more off and see what we got to work with. So. We're slowly getting some things stripped off at the bottom of the lawnmower, soon to be an RC car. Something you need to really be careful of and actually watch as you're doing these kinds of disassemblies. Look for things that are going to make your life easier later on, like or cheaper. You know, the idea here is to build us a budget RC car, big, large-scale RC car, and have a good time. You don't want to spend a lot of money. You want to build it out of junk. You want to have a good time. Here's a really good example. This is the old steering tie rod link right here. That baby was seized on here. I was just about tempted to cut it off, but you know what? These little ball joints are kind of handy to have. You don't want to ruin those. Keep track of those. There's tons of little cotter pins and little washers and little brackets and things that we've been pulling off of here that can be used for other things. Like, look at all these little brackets. So nobody just throwing all that kind of stuff away. Watch how you're disassembling things so you can use it later and keep the whole thing on track and have a nice, fun budget build. There's a lot of neat stuff, a lot of little brackets. So be on the lookout for those as you're taking it apart. All right, there's more good news here. We're looking at the differential assembly, this rear axle piece here. And all these bushings, everything that you see in here, they're good to go. There's not a lot of slop in these things. Everything's tight, so we've got a really good foundation to build this thing up with and have a good time. So this is really good news. All these are nice and tight, these bushings right here and here. And top and bottom, everything looks good. So we're off to a really good start. Tell me though, that isn't starting to look like an RC car. That is perfect. We got a little frame going on here. This is all lawnmower bits. Got a good looking chassis. Good spot to hook a servo up to get us a brake. Got some chains coming off this differential. Got some steering. Now what we're going to have to do is figure out where to get this motor. I got one of those. This is an old engine I got off one of those powered skateboards you see on the popular internet auction sites. I am thinking this thing welded in here somewhere is probably going to do the job just fine. This is 25 pitch chain, so we'll have to either make a jack shaft to run back to this. This is like 40, so big to be 35, so probably 40. Make this little jack shaft here, mount this motor up there in some fashion, and we'll start with that, get some steering going. Alright, we're getting her about most of the way tore down. Things are looking pretty good. Kind of cleaned it up a little bit. We're going to pull the spindles up here fast and kind of give it a quick look. We pulled this one already, so let's give this a quick little tap and finish her up. Just like quick practice. So anyway, let's give the spindles a quick look over. Normally what happens is these little lawn tractors just get abused and people toss them, and these 5/8 spindles end up being about 1/4 of an inch thick by the time it's all done. These spindles don't even have a groove on them, so these things are going to clean up really good. We'll lube the front suspension, put it all back in, start running some tie rods, get a servo up here, and I think the front end will be about bucked up. Some leftover metal we had laying around. on, welded it to the frame, welded the mount to that. This is all lined up, ready to go. All we need now to make this work is fuel, and maybe run an exhaust pipe on it, and hook the brake line up. The front end is all buttoned up. We got this nice and loose. Redid all of this, got this nice and lubed up. All we need to do now is run a tie rod from the front of the windshield wiper motor, which is going to run the steering, over to the main linkage, and this is wrapped up. At that point, all we need to do is put a receiver on this and run the linkages for the brakes and everything, and this is done. This is an RC car, large-scale RC car that we built in 3 hours. We're going to abandon this project. You know how it is when you get some buddies come over.
I didn't think you had any friends.
And they're like, you know what would be awesome? Let's take this to the next level. Fail. And you start showing you some fun stuff, and you can't wait to work on it. So that's where we're going to go. My buddies have kind of dictated and directed a new method of destruction for the vehicle and a new path for the whole build. So we're going to try and go down this new path. It's a lot of fun, and everybody that hears about it thinks it's going to be a pretty good time.
I think that's about the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
So we're just going to scrap it as an RC car, and we're going to push it to the next level. So wait until you see the next level. This is video number 2. Video number 3 is where we're going to show you guys the next level of this build. So stick around. You want to see video number 3.